Good afternoon. I think we had very, very good sessions earlier today. And I hope we will keep up that momentum with this session and with this panel discussion as well. Thanks for the opportunity for me to kind of talk here and, of course, moderate these wonderful colleagues and friends of mine, techpreneurs from the city. While they're from the city, but they have actually been serving global, right? And that's such a great, proud moment for all of us. So my humble request to all of you to kind of welcome everyone with great applause. Thank you. You know, as part of my different roles and responsibilities that I'm playing at the state as well as nationally, as part of eZee and as NASSCOM as well, I had an opportunity to kind of visit several different cities and places, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 regions across the country and overseas as well, in terms of talking, discussing, understanding challenges, trends, especially of tech businesses. And one thing which I have gathered, that while everyone is really very enthused about tech businesses these days, and to talk specifically about startups and tech-enabled startups and deep tech as well, right? Gujarat has very unique thing to offer. And believe me, it's not just me saying, but there are several facts and figures which are talking about it as well. And today we are seeing it right here, what we have observed, what we have talked. And since yesterday, I mean, yesterday afternoon and more importantly in the evening and over networking dinner as well, and today, I came across wonderful techpreneurs, budding entrepreneurs from the city over here. And the unique thing which I want to really share before we start is while the nation is very proud about our tech businesses, and we heard about our eminent, stellar leadership and strong IT leader, Harish Bhai, who is mentor to many of us, by the way. The rest of the country has done huge, of course, but more importantly in services and tech services, right? Now, there is a very, very clear difference between what everyone else have done and what here in Gujarat, and especially in Surat that we are doing, is very niche. Very niche, okay? And why so? Number one, we are a very different ecosystem, right? So when I talk about clusters of Gujarat, especially Ahmedabad, Baroda, Rajkot, and Surat, each ecosystem has a very, very different and unique flavor to offer. I'm talking about in industry terms. And we all know what Surat is known for, right? But how many of us, maybe, of course, many of you from Surat would know it, but a lot of people who came in yesterday and today are going back with great observation, is that, and we know it, is that it's an ecosystem which is very closer to the industry, the mainstream industry, right? And the ecosystem offers so much as far as the mainstream industry is concerned, right? Including a lot of challenges and problems to work on, right? So as a result of that, what we are seeing, very unique thing happening out of here is a lot of tech businesses have started product journey, okay? They're coming up with fantastic niche solutions which we can't even think of. Very specific. We heard someone today talking about ERP, but ERP for textiles, for example, right? I talked to someone yesterday, and they are kind of making a database which is little augmented version. I would not say version, but a step up to what Microsoft Excel does, but something which fills in the gap just before you go for ERP, for example. And it's such a great need and gap to close, right? I talked to a gentleman who has been doing and making a solution which is a SaaS-based solution out from over here, who has been doing very, very phenomenal work for solving problems of clubs and resorts, for example. and their membership issues, for example, right? What I'm essentially saying that as part of our, of course, our DNA, as we call as entrepreneurship, taking that as our, great strength, and then looking around for problems. There are number of challenges to be solved. And what I see as a result of that, a lot of tech entrepreneurship is budding out from over here with a different objective of solving problems and not just services alone, okay? And what we are therefore seeing, that we are going to have a lot of value creation out from over here. And that's being very phenomenal and profound, honestly speaking, right? In my honest opinion, we should not be surprised if we see some tech entrepreneurs becoming unicorn from over here. I'm very, very confident about it. And I think having said that, of course, the strength of the state is also in many different other ways, but these are core strengths which we all believe should be leveraged. Our friends over here have done that, been doing that. We'll certainly hear from them in terms of how they have done it, what they have done it, and what are the stories, some learning from each of them as we talk along. So friends, I'm equally excited to learn that. And I think, a quick introduction of each would be a good idea. So talking about, Vipul Kapoor, he founded his business by the name eZee Technosys in 2005, 2006, yeah, Vipul? And very niche, again, right? Something which solve problems for hospitality businesses. Number one, hotel tech business from India. I mean, I was really so happy when I, have known him for years, but then I got to know about his recent, initiatives. By the way, the company that he founded, solved problems for global businesses and not just for local here. So what I was essentially saying earlier, that we find and look for problems locally around here, convert those into products, but we are actually solving global problems. So we are working locally, but working for global, okay? He exited and Korean major acquired. I think that's a phenomenal thing to happen for the ecosystem over here, which kind of brings in that confidence that, yes, you can deliver from over here. He's also an angel investor and have invested in close to 30 startups, if I'm not wrong, right? Coming to another gentleman, Ashish Narola. He founded this business again in 2005, Ashish? 2005, by the name Narola Infotech. Again, serving global clients and solving complex business solutions, challenges from over here, right? He has been solving challenges, understanding the problems what really industries face, right? As a result of that, he has been able to kind of be a technology partner to many other startups as well, right? I think you are also part of invested into few startups. I think a different model possibly you have followed is sweat equity. Is that correct? And I think that's a great model to know, and everyone should possibly know more about it, that how really you can really do that and possibly also leverage that. Interesting thing over here is this, and this is a common observation again, which I would like to share. Especially to do with small and medium tech businesses, okay? You are serving, you are kind of a services business, which ensures your longevity, sustainability over the period of time because you have money coming in, right? But where is the innovation? Where is your innovation? You're not a big business either. How do you do that? That's the model possibly you should look at. How do you partner with other startups? How do you possibly, there is one way of doing what is called as innovation inside out, outside in. And second one is outside in, right? So he's been looking at, for example, outside in is where actually you look for innovation, what's going around you, bring value on table by making them more scalable in nature, by being a technology partner, for example. So that's another great model to look at. And Ashish, fantastic story of yours, so inspiring. And then finally, I have my good friend, Ashfaq Shilliwala, founder of and CEO of Transform Solutions. I've known him for almost 15, 16 years now, maybe more. Yeah. And, you know, he does a lot of good things, especially with business process management, innovation in work processes and workflow management, understanding how e-commerce works, handling their back office operations as well, for example, right? He has a recent, diversification in RPA, which is robotic process automation, and he himself is invested into a few other startups and mentoring them as well. One happens to be a cloud initiative, which is Clear Sky, right? So fantastic journey again. And I think he has played a very active role in nurturing the ecosystem around over here, especially for tech businesses too. And I know him, how he is well associated with NASSCOM Forum as well, and he's making a huge mark of Surat at that level. And so thank you so much, Ashfaq, for doing that for us. You know, I can say a lot about you all, and I think another hour would be still a less, right? But tell me a little bit about yourself, starting from you, Vipul, in terms of, and each one of you can possibly talk. Tell us about your journey as tech entrepreneur, but keeping Surat in context and the state in context, if you could share something. Over to you.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here. And before I start my journey as a tech entrepreneur, I want to share that Maulik Bhai is my first employer. He offered me a job about 20 years back, and I worked as a software programmer for 6 months.
Yeah.
And because of some social and family reason, I came back to Surat. In 1999, me and Hitesh started our first venture. And the reason for starting it, because there was no software company in Surat. So we had to build one for us.
Right.
That's how we started. In last 20 years, eZee was my third venture, which we recently exited to a South Korean company. But back in 1999 when we started, everybody said that you are making a mistake. This is a city where you should start a textile business or a diamond business or a real estate business. Being a master of computer application, we only knew how to program. And that is how we started our software company. That's how we started. And we vividly remember that we used to have our 486 computer having 16 MB of RAM. And we started using 33.6 kbps of modem. And technically speaking now, every single house is now having a 100 Mbps of lease line.
Right.
So that's how we started. I don't call myself as a, an entrepreneur by choice. I was an accidental entrepreneur. I would have happily worked with you, Maulik Bhai, learned so many things.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah. So that's how we started, and we built a technology. We are serving, eZee serving to more than 30,000 customers in 170 countries worldwide. Yeah. And all we use so far is all common sense. When we started, there was no ecosystem. And we use our common sense. We started on-prem. When the time came, we moved to cloud. And that's how we kept learning and kept building. And that's how we are here.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic, people. That's very inspiring journey of yours. And I would have really loved for you to continue to work with us, but you didn't. That was even a greater satisfaction and gratifying moment today for me to be here with you and seeing your success story. So amazing and so inspiring, people. Thank you. How about your, what would you like to share, equally inspiring story of yours?
Yeah, thank you for the lovely introduction. So basically, I did my engineering in 2001, and then I started my career in an IT company based in Mumbai. So I was there for 4 years. And as you know, the Mumbai life. So that was the motivation to start something in Surat. And as Vipul rightly said that, at that time there was no IT company in Surat, right? Almost none. So we decided to start and we wanted to be a platform where people like me who don't want to travel and who wish to get settled in Surat can get that opportunity. So we started at very small scale and we have grown our organization organically. So initially we started as a web application development agency, and later when the Apple launched that smartphone, we decided to jump into that area too. So today we are actually serving clients mostly across the globe, mostly you can say North America, and we work for them since 2 years. We have started working with enterprise client and few Fortune 500 companies too. So today we have a team of around 260 plus talented people based in Surat. So that is something I would like to highlight.
Fantastic.
And that is it about the Narola.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashish. One thing which I would like to mention is that, and of course we'll hear more about it as we go along and discuss about the concept of sweat equity and how possibly others also take that route to be able to work with innovative businesses and also in process get the innovation from outside in and build furthermore on top of what you already have created. So that's really fantastic. Ashfaq bhai, tell us about your entrepreneurial journey and tech entrepreneurship, especially from the city over here.
Sure. So I didn't start this company first of all. It was founded by somebody else. I came to help one of my relatives. Ultimately, it so happened that he lost interest in the business and I had to run this one. So that's how I am in the business today. And it's a pure coincidence that today is our 20th anniversary.
Wow, congratulations. Fantastic.
So,
fantastic.
But, we started way back in 2002, and that time there were a lot of challenges, as most of them would have faced, but we were lucky to have good clients by our side. So the first project we got was from somebody of Surat, digitization of government records, and he had a passion to get it executed in Surat. So despite of all the challenges, he supported us, and that's why we existed, We were part of a lot of startups growing. We have seen a lot of startups onboarded as our customers, but getting multi-billion-dollar valuation. And one of the biggest success stories, and I can name that client because they are not our clients anymore, is a startup which started as Eat Now, got acquired 4 times, and got, Australian dollar, $1 billion of valuation. And my team did great work in optimizing their processes so much that the world #1 was not able to compete with them. So that's our
fantastic
contribution in their success story. But a lot of hard lessons learned from that, the journey, which I'll share later. Yeah.
Well, thank you
so much.
Thank you, Ashfaq bhai. And I have a question for you, Ashish. What are the strengths of the ecosystem here? And how do you scale business from over here? I mean, there may be friends over here who may have some question in terms of, getting started is one thing, but scaling, especially when talking about a tech business, there are challenges, and there may have been challenges for you as well. And how have you really handled those challenges, especially from a tier 2 cities, possibly, even your clients may not have heard about Surat at times when you have approached to them. How have you overcome those challenges, and what have you done differently?
Yeah, that's a nice question. So basically, I think when we started in 2005, one thing is limited resources in terms of not only the skill, but the infrastructure. Let's say I used to remember I remember that, you Telecom was the only provider who used to sell 128 kbps line as a enterprise plan. So, like, it takes time to deploy things, when you have to, when you finish development of the software and you have to deploy. So it takes hours, not minutes, right? So those kind of challenges were there. In addition to that, as I said, that there were no IT companies. So in other words, there were very limited resources. So how we have grown is we invested a lot in terms of training, because we used to hire a lot of freshers, and we have to, it's kind of an ongoing thing, and still till date also we are doing the same thing, and that is the only way. And if you trust people, I think the tier 2 city has one advantage, that people mindset is, I appreciate that, as you say, as you know, that necessity is the mother of invention. So, when you actually hire freshers, when you trust them, you train them, they actually perform way better than you actually imagine. So it worked well in our case, and I think that is the way you have to go further in tier 2 city like Surat.
Well, fantastic. What I may want to add a thought or an observation is, and we have, I believe, some eminent people from academia as well. And I think that makes a big difference, having a big academic ecosystem around where talent is available. And you nurture problem solvers and not just job seekers alone, but job creators as well. And of course, you need people to work for you as well, and good talented people. And one thing in the observation which has come recently, that the newer businesses, or especially tech businesses, and they drive and are also then followed by the big ones. Okay? What I mean that it was a time when, tech businesses would go where the talent was available, right? And it is still true. But there is one more factor which is getting added to it. Tech businesses move to the places where there are good startup ecosystems as well, right? And why? Because at the end of the day, everyone is looking for problem solvers, right? And I think that kind of creates that kind of culture in the, basics of everything is being done. And I think that brings in more businesses to actually operate from cities like Surat. I think it has a great advantage, because when I have been looking around talking to people, the tech ecosystem is really getting developed over here through startups. And I think that will then follow by bigger businesses also to come, in my honest opinion. That's, that's exactly what is happening in other places too. Right, so I think don't be surprised if we possibly see more tech entrepreneurs coming from, coming here, but more people coming in here and opening from here, right? So, Ashfaq, I have a question for you. There have been many influencing factors, right, that impact very survival of IT or an IT-enabled business, right, or a tech business, right? Especially small, medium businesses as well, right? How businesses here have adapted to changes or challenges, right, in this specific ecosystem, right, and what they have done to stay relevant?
So one of the beauty of small and medium businesses like us is we are very agile in adopting changes, right? And we have no choice because for our survival, we need to change track swiftly. Yeah, so, we learned a lot of things. We matured in our processes and learning new things we have never heard of. So, and we don't have choices in choosing our clients. Being a small services company like us, we have to take clients whatever we get, and so for each new client that we onboarded, there was a new thing to learn, which we have never heard of. Fortunately, my team was very eager to learn and adapt to those requirements. Correct. Today, we have been back office to a venture capital and a private equity firm managing $1 billion or more of single fund, and they have 3-4 such funds.
Fantastic.
And they rely on our research and what our team does for them. Secondly, when we recently wanted to try something new, we ventured out into RPA.
Okay.
Now, being in Surat, we do not have much of local talent. And, I had to convince my client to go with interns.
Okay.
And luckily, he agreed. So, we were fortunate to having good clients, and we always believed that whatever we innovate, we should, give our time freedom to learn, accept new things, new technologies, and build on that. Yeah. And that is one part internally.
Sure.
On the external side, we always discuss, we did not have a local ecosystem which, we can take as a boon because the lesser we know, the lesser problems we know, and so we were not aware of what most of the things, how things work in the rest of the world. So we try to figure out things ourselves. Yeah.
Correct.
But then I sooner realized that if we had to grow, then we have to be part of a larger ecosystem, and that's why I started connecting with NASCOM, TiE,
Right.
other things, even when they had no presence in Surat.
Right.
And I've been trying to bring that locally. So that's what my take was.
No, this is great. I think leaders keep on learning and exploring. But the change, how do you manage such a change?
Do we have a choice?
Well, we don't. And that's the entrepreneurial spirit speaking and taking on. But I have that question for you both as well.
Like Ashish Bhai said,
Yeah.
necessity is the mother of invention. So we have to kind of keep on reinventing ourselves and rediscovering ourselves for our own survival. And
Is there a, I mean, one thing is you reinvent, of course, that's the need of the hour and that's the entrepreneurial call. But is there a method to it?
I think Ashish Bhai would be able to.
Is there a method to it, honestly? I mean, for example, if you have to rediscover yourself as business, especially coming from a tier 2 city, for example, how do you do that? Is there a method to it? I mean, this is a bigger question, but if you would like to share something.
So do you mean to say that if we restart the business today, what would be our strategy?
Maybe that as well, yes. What would you do?
Okay, I might, I think I might repeat the same thing, but the pace would be different.
Okay.
Because in 2005, I think as I said, the limitations and the challenges and the opportunities were different than what we have today.
Right.
So the pace or the speed would be different, but I might repeat the same thing.
You would possibly do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can I add something to
Sure, sure.
I think if we have to restart today, we may have better access to capital than what we used to.
No, but that's an advantage to the new young
Yes, absolutely,
entrepreneurs, tech
absolutely,
entrepreneurs, right?
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Having said that, I have coming to you now, Vipul. You have successfully exited off a business, right? Was that the objective when you started? And what brought you to that point?
Certainly not. I mean, if I tell that before 16 years, we started with a goal that we want to exit from the business one day,
Right.
I will be lying, to be very honest. I think as an entrepreneur, the most we can see, and that's what the practice we also had, that we would plan for 2 years at the
Right.
most. And like Kunal sir says that, any goal without plan is just a wish.
Okay.
So at the most, we will plan for 2 years, and we know what we want to do, what we want to achieve as a business, and then we keep expanding for, next 2 years. And then you see how the market dynamics is changing, what new opportunities are coming to your way, etc., etc. And that's how you carve out your further journey. So haven't planned that way
Okay.
to exit for, but yeah, something was there at the mind that if there is an opportunity, we'll surely explore that.
Correct. But Did you at any point of time possibly came to an understanding that, now to be able to really exit, you'll have to do things little differently? Was there a switch or was that a process?
So what happened, like we already discussed, that sitting in Surat, we did not have access to a lot of jnana.
Yeah.
And as we call it in Gujarati, that sometimes ajnanta is a ashirwad. So we didn't know what's going on. Back in 2015-16, we started seeing a lot of startup in our domain started raising funds. They started blitz scaling. That's what the gentleman talked about.
Yes.
Blitz scaling as a speed we couldn't understand. They would go to a customer using our software, customer happily paying us 5,000 rupees per month, for example. They would say, we will offer you a software at 1,000 rupees. And we have no idea what they are trying to do. And these startups are based out of Bangalore, Delhi, very expensive to run their business, and we have no idea that what they are trying to do. We started downloading their balance sheets and came to know about that they are burning money.
Okay.
And we have no idea. Now what to do? Now we are talking about change.
Right.
And we ask ourselves, and let's explore this, what's happening. And we started learning what's happening. Within 3 months, we started getting calls from VCs and Ps. And the call will start very well. The moment we say that we are self-sustained and making a lot of profits, the call will conclude.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's how we started. And then we came to know that we are sitting on something which is very meaningful.
Right.
We prepared our wish list and our checklist that if we able to meet this criteria, then we will exit. Luckily, we able to find a custodian where all the checklists are met, and we exited.
Interesting. I think there is a hidden message in what he said, is to focus on building the business itself, right? That's what even investors want to hear about. So it's not just about valuations alone, right? But in true sense, building the business, right? Having money coming in, having continued contracts, client engagements, customers is the biggest need. So yesterday, I kind of had an opportunity to meet few young entrepreneurs here, and I met them today as well. I noticed one very, very interesting thing, that there is aspiration in terms of becoming true valuable unicorn more than just a valuation unicorn, right? And I said, okay, give me an example, right? I mean, nothing against unicorns as such or valuation model, right? But I'm just sharing a thought which came across. It was so powerful and so profound that I would like to have 10 paying clients and customers and continuing to survive, and would like to rather follow a book my show model which says, I'm good to be a cockroach and not a unicorn. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, cockroaches survive. It doesn't matter. They can survive in rain as well, right? And that's what we want to be. And I think that is a great message in terms of how do you build business itself and create its value in its own way. I mean, fantastic message from you on that, Vipul.
Yeah, and Maulik Bhai,
a
unicorn is a mystical character. It doesn't exist in reality.
Right.
So, well, you said it. Okay. So, talking about that, what is it that businesses today can do little different, to be able to attract investments, maybe partnerships or strategic partnerships or strategic investments? What is it that they can do today? I mean, having gone through that experience yourself.
So I will talk from the Surat perspective.
Sure, yeah.
And the very fundamental thing is, if we build a meaningful business, then any investor will come from the world. What happens is that if we start building business for raising funds, then it doesn't work that way. I was following Kashyap Bhai's message
Right.
during the yesterday's discussion. And he said that 50% of investment which is happening in Gujarat is from Surat. And then we know there are so many angel investors in Surat, family offices. Even if we take example like Envision, Life Sciences,
Right.
DWise, XYXS, it's all Surat-based companies and they're able to raise their institutional round. Even if we take example of, Garden Silk Mills,
Right.
and then Zota Healthcare,
Yeah.
Anupam Rashayan. There are
Right.
so many IPO which is happening from Surat.
Correct.
Even our charter member, Mr. Rakesh Bhai, he has made a vision that in next 3 years, he's going to help 100 businesses going IPO.
Okay.
So the funds are available, the capital is available,
Right.
if the business has a potential.
Fantastic. Awesome. I think you have a different model sweat equity. Yesterday, again, I met few couple of entrepreneurs who are possibly looking into that direction. They are good technology service providers and possibly can become technology partners to new ventures and to new startups to scale them up, right? Is that a right way to think?
No, I mean, in our case, we got that kind of opportunity. There is nothing wrong doing the investment in form of cash money. But in our case, because the startup where we have invested, they were looking for a technical partner. Moreover, because if we have invested our,
Sure.
kind of a basically manpower into it, then only, they can rely on us in simple words. So they were looking for a technical partner who can, who are a stakeholder too. So that is the reason we invested as a sweat equity partner.
Well, fantastic. I think that makes a way or a path to kind of co-create.
Correct.
And co-creation is great way of getting the understanding of the domain as well, which otherwise possibly you do not know about. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right.
So basically, what happen is sometimes, even though let's say we wish to make some innovations or let's say we wish to build a product, but in our case, we feel that we are good at building product, but let's say we are not good in customer acquisition or let's say go-to-market strategy or how to raise fund. That thing is not familiar. We are not familiar with. So as IT software engineering company, what we have decided is, we will maybe have an association with the other startups who are good with that, and we will build the solution for them.
Well, that's fantastic when you realize your strengths, when where your strengths are, what your strengths are, and then how do you capitalize on that. Right. That's the biggest message from you, Ashish. I was talking to other friends earlier today, and especially with CEO Amit is right here. The model co-creation goes long way. And I think this ecosystem right here in Surat presents great opportunity for co-creation. I mean, you have user industries right here, right? Who would want to adapt technology and digitalization, and you have thriving startup ecosystem as well, which will actually bring both on the same platform and nurture co-creation. So I think that's a great model to follow. One should certainly look at, and startups will also gain benefit out of it, and so will the user industry and tech businesses like yours as well. Ashfaq bhai, you have been investor and mentor and advisor to few startups. What is your take in terms of how possibly one can, let's say, diversify from a pure tech business or an IT or IT-enabled services business to newer areas and create something different than what you have earlier done?
Sure. So I think first I would want to share my learnings.
Yeah.
And so first of all, have a good team of founders. If you are not having certain expertise, like Ashish bhai rightly said, you need to look for those expertise and add to your founding team or maybe some leadership team at some level. Second, never raise money just because it looks glamorous.
Right.
Right. And I have made that mistake, so I'm able to share that very candidly with you. So and always look for investors who can add strategic inputs to your to your growth.
Sure.
So what happens is when you don't have a plan and you have investors who are looking for making quick money out of your exits or whatever, then they start, manipulating in a way which may not be good for your business, and that is where we need to be careful about. Yeah? So that is my own experience that I have been through. We got 37 crores of valuation in way back in 2015. We took money. We did not have a plan, and that's where we took a little while to learn where to use that money, and we had our own learnings out of that.
Right.
Now coming back to why how I started engaging with startups and mentoring and helping them build on. So I always look for technology that doesn't exist in India.
Okay.
And my focus is very service oriented. I'm being little selfish about how we can bring or add value to that business from India, build a team over here so that we can help them in building a tech stack over here, from here, and how do we have, market those products in India. So that way I look at these two angles, and if there is a possibility, I start getting involved in that. So so far I've been involved in 2 such startups. One is a cloud management platform, which is based out of UK. A patented platform, very good product, and we are trying to establish their market in India. Another is a construction tech company based out of Melbourne, Australia, and we are building their tech team in Bangalore, and also trying to market their products in India. So it's for Class A kind of contractors. To manage their employee health and safety requirements. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. And one question to all before we end the session. We just have time running out, and just 5 minutes left. Today, you all have been entrepreneurs yourself and investors too now. Correct? What is 1 or 2 things that you would like to let our budding new tech entrepreneurs take away in terms of what they should do, how they should do, and especially keeping Surat ecosystem in context?
I'll go first.
Please.
Hello. So over 2 days, there are so many gyan everybody has shared about funding, about blitz scaling, etc., etc. I will stick to the most fundamental thing, and I want to share a few lines. चाहोगे तो आसमान में भी कर दोगे एक सुराग, चाहोगे तो आसमान में भी कर दोगे एक सुराग, तबीयत से पहले एक पत्थर तो उठाया जाए.
Good. Fantastic. Fabulous. Fabulous. I've seen a different side of you today.
I got motivated too.
Very nice.
Okay, so basically, I would like to share maybe my learning. I think being a SME, what you have to do is, you have to be agile basically. You have to be flexible enough so that you can pivot your business model, or you can strategy with, because it's a fast changing world, and being a SME, that is actually advantage. So, you have to be agile. And another thing I would like to mention is, trust people, right? So that is the 2 advice I have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ashfaq bhai.
So one thing that I have implemented is, we should celebrate failures. We should allow people to fail, learn from it, and not ridicule those people who fail. Rather, give them respect that at least they tried, and they tried something, and it did not work. It's fine, but they have the courage to try something on their own.
Fabulous. Great message. Well, friends, I hope you kind of enjoyed this discussion and have taken few really nuances points from this. One thing which I have been really very excited when I was going to be here, and I go back a very strong thought. And you know what? Wealth all this while was made from doing things perfectly. Now are the times wealth is being generated from by seizing the unknown. You see what I'm saying? By seizing the unknown. And what I'm seeing, you have been doing that and done that. And I see a lot of budding tech entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who are willing to and are poised to kind of seize the unknown. So my best wishes. Thank you so much for listening us so patiently. And thank you so much, friends, for sharing your thoughts, your experience, and your insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maulik Bhai, for hosting us.